Kill Team Shadowhunt has gone up for pre-order this weekend. I just wanted to take a minute and break down what that might mean for the next box in the Kill Team release cycle, as well as whether we're going to get a box at all. In the normal release format for a Kill Team season, generally speaking, we'll get 4 big boxes with 2 teams in each, so that is 8 teams total. However, the roadmap that we were given by Games Workshop only had 3 boxes on it this season. Now, that could mean a few things. Some people, like myself, speculated that Shadowhunt may be the final box in a 4-box release cycle. However, now that Shadowhunt is up for pre-order, that could mean a couple of different things. This could pretty much confirm that we're going to get a release more akin to the Ashes of Faith box, which pushes the boat out a little bit in terms of what to expect in this final box. I definitely think it might be worth reviewing how that box was handled in the previous release cycle and what the teams were like in that box, to see if we can get any ideas or inferences from that previous release cycle. So, Ashes of Faith was a bit of a funny release when it came to the Gallowdark season. That was the season that it was part of. And essentially it gave us 2 new kill teams and a campaign deck. The teams that were included in that box were the Inquisitorial Agents and the Chaos Cult. And both of those teams were unorthodox releases. One team, the Inquisitorial Agents, used other kill teams to bulk out its roster and basically field a full team on the table. And the other team, the Chaos Cult, I believe was made up of existing models from the Chaos range with a couple of new sort of bits and bobs added in. It came with a campaign system, and this campaign system was very sort of narratively focused. Generally, it felt like it was marketed as a more narratively themed box as well. Definitely stepped away from the very tightly competitively focused kill team boxes in the previous parts of the season, both for the focus from competitive to narrative, but also sort of in universe, in the lore of the box. It focused on a totally separate part of the galaxy and the continuity, which made it essentially a sort of standalone release, which served as a bit of a get by box, I suppose, toward the end of the Gallowdark season. It certainly felt that way with this sort of amount of repurposed plastic within the box. Again, unfortunately, stock was very limited, but this is definitely something we don't need to be worrying about in the kill team system. Everyone's cool about proxies. So if we were to get an Ashes of Faith style release as per the previous season, what do you think would be a good fit for the box contents? Personally, I think this could be the perfect vehicle for both a Grey Knight or a Custodes release. They could do both if they went down the Terminus Decree route, I suppose. I do think this for a couple of reasons, but first of all, primarily, they are the only Imperial factions within the Kill Team ecosystem that doesn't have any representation. Both of these teams are kind of Marine equivalent bodies. Obviously, the Custodians are like Marine Plus, but the point is, the current season of Kill Team is definitely vectoring towards a hyper elite design space. We're getting more and more elite kill teams and very little sort of horde representation within the game. Also, the lore reasons that these guys show up is very specific, and it would be way more difficult to shoehorn into a normal kill team release cycle as opposed to, Deathwatch or basically any other team. Obviously, the Grey Knights only turn up to sort of deal with demonic manifestations, and obviously the Custodians only sort of act when there is a direct threat to the Emperor himself, kind of thing. So, lore-wise, I think that this makes both of these factions very good candidates for that kind of standalone change in score, change in scope, focusing on a specific part of the galaxy kind of box. I definitely think with the release of the Insidiants and the anti-Psyker sort of weapons, it would be interesting to see a Grey Knight all Psychic Marine team drop. And I think for the Custodians, I would love to see an Eyes of the Emperor kill team. I think it kind of breaks. I think it's very difficult to sell a Custodian kill team. An actual team of Custodians running around like 5 guys to slaughter anyone that they ran into. But if we got like an Eyes of the Emperor Custodian kill team, like a Custodian that's not quite as good as he used to be, with like an entourage of spies or something like that, that could work. There is, however, another option. Obviously, production for Big 40K's new edition is being invested in heavily in the background as these kill team releases are being dropped as well, which could result in kill team sort of dropping down in the billing. They only have so much factory economy to sort of make use of, don't they? So we might not get a box, guys. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. As much as I love this game and I love always having something fresh to play with and a new puzzle to sort of work out and unlock, I think, honestly, it would be nice to have a few months off to get caught up on a couple of kill teams and maybe paint my terrain and things like that from boxes. I still haven't finished Tomb World. I need to get on that. There's so many things that I could be doing other than worrying about these new releases that are orbiting constantly and giving Games Workshop free marketing. Bottom line, I do think it's within the realms of possibility that we'll get an Ashes of Faith style standalone box. Hopefully it's executed a little more effectively than it was last time. However, I wouldn't be too sad if we didn't get a box, guys. I think we could all do with a release cycle off.